Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Before I start, I want to acknowledge the fact that we're all congregated on stolen land. And that all of us non-Indigenous people in some way or another are complicit in settler colonialism. And I want to uplift a truly post-colonial future where the sovereignty of Ohlone and all Indigenous peoples of this country are restored back to us. I also want to be in solidarity with the women who are not able to be here because of the way that we are tethered to racial capitalism. So yesterday, I read two of the most fiery takes on today's women's strike. The first take was a New York Times opinion piece about a Zionist who felt conflicted and unwelcome in women's spaces. The second take was from a presumably middle-class white woman complaining that only privileged people could attend the march. Now let me explain to you why both of them were full of shit. Emily Shire's feminism does the bidding of empire. She probably celebrates the IDF because both men and women, and even the queer types of both, are allowed to be in the compulsory military service. Never mind that Palestinian women are violently put down by Israeli apartheid. As long as Israeli women can enjoy the spoils of settler colonialism, everything is quite all right. Right. But if our politics are truly to be radical, to be liberatory, they're not to make any allowances for imperialism, for militarism, for mass incarceration, for anti-blackness, for Islamophobia, for anti-Semitism, or for any violations of Indigenous sovereignty. They do not make allowances for Zionist feminism. If we claim to support the Indigenous people of the United States, like those fighting against the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline, people of Palestine, especially the women of Palestine, we claim to oppose incarceration and border regime, especially in support of the violation of women of color brutalized by those regimes. We must stand in firm opposition to Israeli checkpoints and apartheid regulation of movement. Empire, not a fucking one. Now Maureen Shaw was loud and wrong because she said that only privileged women would be able to attend, thus rendering the strike ultimately irrelevant. Ableism, racial exclusion, trans misogyny, queer antagonism, the absence of childcare, I can go on for literally ever. Her criticism completely ignores what strike action is and what International Women's Day is. The first Women's Day in the United States was in 1909, in remembrance of the previous year's strike of women garment workers, of the Women Garment Workers Union. On this day, 100 years ago on this day, a Women's Day demo was held by women textile workers in Petrograd, and those women were part of the protest that kicked off the Russian Revolution. What Maureen refuses to recognize is that strike action is not an action of privileged individualism, but radical solidarity. Strike is an attempt to push back against capitalist institutions, to demand fair wages, and to demand equitable treatment, and they come at tremendous risk of so many women, immigrant women, women of color, women with children, disabled women, women who do sex work, working class women, women who have so much to lose in the event that they do lose their jobs. Am I a privileged person, a beneficiary of and complicit in systems of oppression? Absolutely. But as a queer black woman raised by Zimbabwean immigrant parents, including a mother who endured Rhodesian internment camps and British colonialism only to fight white supremacy in America, I also have a lot to lose, but so much to gain by standing in solidarity and affirmation with both the women and everyone else who's here and all of those people who also could not get here. I think it's important to also note that Maureen was a vocal supporter of Hillary Clinton, the embodiment of lean-in corporate feminism that ultimately served the advancement of rich white women. While Hillary Clinton had the opportunity to crack the glass ceiling of the Oval Office, I, as a black woman, can only hope for the residual effects of this feminist progress in the form of the shards trickling down on me. Women's liberation, the radical essence of why we are here today, is a liberation from the capitalist system that devalues feminine labor, particularly reproductive labor. to push back on the potentially alienating notion of gender abolition that might come with the gender strike. Because what happens if we continue to strike and all of our devalued labor goes undone? If I cease to dedicate my life to Black liberation, and if all women did the same, what would happen to our community? Because no one would come and save our community. While woman is a category of human existence that is violently marginalized, my womanhood is sacred because of the ways in which white supremacy makes womanhood inaccessible to me as a Black woman. As a cis woman, I don't have to experience the fallout of gender abolition. Despite misogynoir, I've never had to convince anyone that I'm a real woman the way that trans women do. And it speaks to my complicity in that gendered violence that I can just opt out of those systems rather than confront and dismantle them. The most painful thing that racial capitalism does is sap us of our generative and imaginative political energy. It saps us of our ability to conceive of radical solidarity, and we become dependent on the crumbs dropped to us by the so-called progressive Democratic Party. In this moment, I call on us to imagine a social and economic and political system where gendered differences may exist, but gendered labor is understood equally and valued equally. A system where we support and affirm the self-determination of trans women rather than gatekeeping their identities to mitigate our own gender anxiety. A system where white women don't paternalistically nurture women of color's dependence on them. One where even as feminists, we stop refusing to recognize the validity of sex work as real work and sex work with agency for participating in that work. One where domestic laborers, undocumented women, homeless women, incarcerated women, and women occupying society's underclasses are not constantly forgotten from our politics. One of the most important parts of the Combahee River Collective Statement says, Black feminists often talk about their feelings of craziness before becoming conscious of the concepts of sexual politics, patriarchal rule, and most importantly, feminism, the political analysis and practice that we women use to struggle against our oppression. The fact that racial politics and indeed racism are pervasive factors in our lives did not allow us and still does not allow most Black women to look more deeply into our own experiences, and from that sharing and growing consciousness, build a politics that would change our lives and end our oppression. All of our internalizations of misogyny shape the ways in which we deny our own and others' embodied experiences and emotional responses to gendered violence and gendered labor extraction. And I urge us not to shy away from radical love and compassion as we build together to fight against never-ending demand for our physical and intellectual labor and the toll of our never-ending and seemingly inescapable emotional and reproductive labor as we navigate this patriarchal world. We won't bring about this revolution tomorrow, or maybe the day after that, but in meaningful ways, we can make them materialize in our households, our communities, our interpersonal relationships, and eventually our world. Thank you.
As you can tell, we're fairly resourceful. Our sound system hasn't quite shown up yet, but we're making do. In leather skirts, I might add. We've got some more badasses that are going to say a few things. I just want to again remind people for their safety, do not fuck with the police. Fuck the police. And I see you, white boy agitators out there and instigators shaking your head. So be safe today, okay? Stay with your crew, watch out for one another, hold it down, keep each other safe. Okay, next up we have Daniela. Let's give her a warm welcome. Daniela. I'm a member of Affirm SF Bay Area, a transnational feminist, anti-imperialist organization built by, led by, and run by women of color. I am also a Mexican woman from the Bay Area and have 3 generations of migrant mothers born in the Mission District here in San Francisco. So we're out here today as part of the International Women's Strike and to build for a feminism of the 99%. That is anti-capitalist, anti-racist, anti-imperialist, anti-fascist. Affirm SF Bay Area recognizes that there is a global resurgence of neo-fascism, and we know that fascism does not maintain within borders and crosses them. So our fight must cross borders as well. So I wanted to come up here and talk about a couple of events that are coming up that are in line with this movement building. They're anti-racist, anti-fascist, and we're going to keep shutting down ICE. We're going to shut them down Tuesday. We'll shut them down on Saturday. I'll let you know more about that right now. And we have convergences, conferences coming up where people can plug in, get organized, and fight. This weekend we have a couple of events going on. First, Affirm SF Bay Area is organizing a noise demo at the Richmond ICE Detention Center from 3 to 8 p.m. This Saturday, this ICE Detention Center is built to keep people out. When you go up there, all they're isolated. And it's this road and their turf. But we're not going to be deterred. We're going to go out there and we're going to show them that we won't back down. We're going to show them we're unafraid. And we're going to stand in solidarity with all immigrants and especially... And especially show out for our transgender women, for the migrant mothers who are being detained, and for the families that are being divided by this administration. This weekend is the ROAR conference put on by a group called NOCARA, Northern California Anti-Racist Action. And this convergence is going to convene groups from across the United States that are anti-fascist, anti-racist, pro-black liberation, anti-patriarchal, and so on. This convergence will highlight workshops such as gender oppression under fascism and the fight for a feminist anti-fascist
I'm going to head to downtown Oakland pretty shortly. There's a demonstration starting at 5 o'clock.
From Dallas called the
I'll be heading over there.
Black Women's Defense League.
Probably going to shoot for a fresco as well. But it's great that we saw each other.
Converging who have been fighting fascists for years, and we invite you all out. On Saturday, it's going to be at
Grace back at the headquarters actually
from 10 to 6 on the Commons in Oakland. On Sunday, I
got to see you more than
on Sunday the conference will be at CIIS in San Francisco, also from 10 to 6. So we want to see your faces out there and continue to see your faces fighting.
I actually did a live
standing
video
up for what's just.
of where I was of this location earlier. So you should actually see it in the Facebook community.
Oh, cool. So
I've actually asked my brother to actually go down to San Jose
with a chant for all of us to
situation.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna go like this. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down.
This was the assignment, the stringer. So I'm gonna do both.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And if we don't get it, shut it down. We don't get it, shut it down. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And if we don't get it, shut it down. We don't get it, shut it down. Thank you. it down! Shut 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 it down! You guys are amazing. Thank you. That was amazing. There are a couple other speakers out there, and if you want to come to the stage, I'm looking out for you.
Speak up, though. Oh, I can go speak.
No, it's all right.